Hello guys, and today the Ukrainian armed forces have provided us with some really good materials to discuss. Number one, we have burnt another SU-25 in Pokrovsk region. That is the second during this week. And Russian ferry set on fire in the port Caucasus on the territory of Krasnodar region in Russia. This is actually the last ferry that was used by Russian army in that area of the Black Sea. And I think this is beautiful. But this also brings me back childhood memories. I loved watching mystery shows, for example, ones about Bermuda Triangle. I'm sure you've heard about that. It was super popular in the 90s. But now in Ukraine, we have our own Pokrovsk Triangle because so many Russian jets disappear in that triangle. And all is the result of the special military operation of Ukraine in the process of the demilitarization of Russia. Let me tell you more about that from an ordinary Ukrainian perspective. And subscribe if you're new to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine and all the democratic world. And let's start with the jets. Su-25s are evil Russian jets that are used to target Ukrainian positions close to the front lines. Unfortunately, Russians still enjoy a possibility to locate their air bases close to the front lines. And all because of illogical, irrational and weak decision of our allies to ban Ukraine striking back on the Russian territory. I believe, I hope, I pray that sometime soon this ban will be lifted and we will have an opportunity to neutralize Russian aviation on the territory of Russia. That's better and that's super ecological. So anyway, we are working fine even with this severe limitations, and on the 19th of July, Ukrainian armed forces, the very same group of people, targeted and destroyed Su-25. It feels like they liked the process, they enjoyed it, so today they destroyed another Su-25. You know that YouTube is super sensitive. We cannot share such videos, but as a Ukrainian, I can tell you, watching Russian jet on fire is beautiful. And the video describes how its evil flight was interrupted and it did not manage to cause any harm to Ukrainian defenders. Defenders. That's why defenders must have a right to strike back. Once again, this is an investment in peaceful future on the planet. Another important achievement of the Ukrainian armed forces was the serious fire and damage to Russian ferry on the territory of the Krasnodar region. I know you enjoy this geography lesson, same as I do. And Krasnodar region has the second largest Russian port on the Black Sea, Caucasus. It is second largest after Novorossiysk. You remember that now Novorossiysk is home to Russian Black Sea Navy after it had to escape from Sevastopol because Crimea is Ukraine, like if you agree with me. And now, a couple of days ago, there were serious explosions. Someone smoked in Novorossiysk, and that someone today moved to Caucasus, the port, and smoked on a ferry, Slavianin, which can be translated as a Slavic person, but actually modern Russia has more from the old Mongolian ord than the classical Slavic nation. I mean, the way they build the hierarchy and develop tyranny from century to century, and that they expand by and become rich by looting, not by building or inventing or something else. But anyway, this ferry is not a simple ferry. It's not a traveling one. It was used by Russian army to transport railway cars and armored vehicles and other stuff. Well, but you can imagine that's a huge ferry that they were using to bring the stuff that evil Russian army needs on the territory of Crimea or elsewhere, but not anymore. And what I loved learning about this ferry is that actually it was the last one out of 3 that were working in this part of Russia. Have a look at what we managed to achieve in the aquatorium of the Black Sea. Literally, we have upgraded most of Russian warships to submarines. Then we destroyed Russian headquarters, Black Sea Navy headquarters in Sevastopol, and they had to escape to Novorossiysk. And we also target them in Novorossiysk, because it is not only that we don't like Russian Navy in Crimea, we simply do not like Russian Navy. And another very good proof why it's good to invest in peace, security, and defeat of Russia. We desperately needed grain deal. Lots of countries around the world needed grain deal, but not anymore. Why? Because we have cleaned the aquatorium of the Black Sea from evil Russian warships. And lots of countries, and we are very grateful for that, help Ukraine demine the Black Sea. Actually, this is another war crime of Russia committed not just against Ukraine, but many other countries that have access to the Black Sea, if you look at this from this perspective, same as lots of ecocides and other stuff. Anyway, we have to work hard to persuade our allies, to persuade global leaders that they have to be leaders and they have to allow Ukraine strike back. Because by neutralizing Russian aviation, by neutralizing Russian ammunition while still on the territory of the Russian Federation, we can defend more of the European territories, more of the people who simply defend their land, defend their nation, defend their culture, contrary to Russian invaders. And any kind of invasion, any kind of bullying must be prohibited and must be punished. Because believe me, I'm Ukrainian, unpunished evil grows. I know many hope for some political decisions, but unfortunately their time had passed long ago. I think before 2014, because after brutal annexation of Crimea, occupation of Donetsk and Luhansk regions, Russia demonstrated to all the world that it violates international agreements, it disrespects borders, it disrespects all us who follow these rules and agreements. So time for political decisions is in the past, and now is the time for military decisions. And then when you listen attentively to, let's say, NATO generals, all of them agree Ukraine must be allowed to strike back. That's the best way to defeat Russia. And no peace is possible without the complete defeat of Russia, Putin, and very serious reconstruction, de-zombifying of the Russian Federation with its potential dismantling, but peaceful dismantling, and many new good nations appearing. Don't be afraid of that. We have a video on the channel that explains why the collapse of Russia is not dangerous, and I will definitely link it here. You know that we have a new beautiful drop in our merch shop, and you can actually use the link in the description of this video to check some of new products that work well as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. And you see, we need to remind people about Ukrainian fight that is needed for the safety and security of the world. Join me on Instagram, X, Threads, and Discord. I'm active on all of these social media, and you can find the links in description. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. I'm very grateful for your support and friendship. Slava Ukraini!